Hello, my name is Elijah Miti, founder of Public Speaking Academy. And you're here today, I'm sure, because you have some interest in knowing how to become a public or professional speaker. Let me share something. These days, the most highly paid profession is in speaking. People like Bill Clinton get paid something like $750,000 just to speak for 90 minutes. People like Andy Harrington from the UK, he's able to make about $500,000 speaking to groups like in a live event in 90 minutes. And just talking about myself as well, I have seen speaking bring me to a point where in one speaking engagement I was also able to make something like $8,400, which is quite a high amount, especially here in Africa. And I know that you can even make much more than that. But in any kind of business that you go into, you need to know the art of speaking. You need to know how to communicate with your customers so that you are able to sell your products, whatever it is. I always say that whether you are a maid, a garden boy, a housekeeper, a doctor, an expert, an author, you can actually create something that you can sell. You have a message inside you. When it comes to book writing, I always tell people that there is a book inside you that is crying out to be written. In the same way, you have a voice, and for you to know how to present that voice, you need the art of speaking. So today I'm going to share with you what we call stress-free speaker. Stress-free speaker. This is a system that will help you in your presentation, that will help you become a positioned speaker, not just a seasonal speaker. But I know that next time you speak with this system, it will help you present much better and engage your audience. So now let's look at this stress-free speaker system. We call it a system because as I'm going to explain, you're going to see what these letters actually stand for. Now let's look at the first S. What does this S stand for? Alright, the S actually stands for state. In other words, before you do your presentation, before you speak, you need to have a state of mind that is ready. You need to condition your mind so that you are ready for that kind of presentation. Many speakers, before they speak, some actually pray just to be focused, because focus is the most important thing in this process. And some actually do some exercises. Maybe they will go and gym, or some even come with something like a vibrator just to bring themselves into a state of energy that they can focus on their presentation. So the state is very important. Your state of mind need to be positive and ready. You need to be energized for your presentation. The second part is yourself. You need to be ready. You need to be yourself when you're presenting. You can't be somebody else. There is a saying that you can't ask someone to do your push-ups. So in other words, you need to be yourself when you're presenting. Most of the times we have mentors that we imitate. Like for instance, most of the people know Tony Robbins, and you might want to speak like Tony Robbins. You might want to do things like him, but you are not like him. You just need to learn the techniques, but just present as you. When you present as yourself, people will engage with you more. People will relate with you more than when you try to be somebody else. Speak just as you are. Talk just as you are. Behave on stage just as you are. So you need to be yourself. Let's look at the third thing that you actually need. You actually need to work on what we call stance. When you are presenting, you need to be in a stance that is comfortable, a stance that will engage with people. For instance, if I'm talking to you and I'm busy just looking around and fidgeting like I'm dancing, do you think you'd really concentrate? But if I look at you with a stance that we call in a peripheral kind of vision, where you are able to see me, I'm able to engage with you, you'll be able to concentrate and focus and consume a lot of things that I'll be teaching. But if I'm fidgeting or doing something funny, it's actually not good for a speaker. Then the other thing is the way you stand is very important. Like for instance, I'm talking to you right now. I can't really give you my back and start talking like this. I have to be in what we call a peripheral vision, where I'm able to, engage with you, and I'm positioned, I'm standing in a position where my legs are actually straight, facing the audience, and that gives me a sense of command, that gives me control when I'm speaking, and even the audience that is actually watching or listening to you. When you are standing in a command kind of stance, then that's the best for a speaker. So you need to work on your stance. Let's look at the fourth thing that you need to look at when you are actually speaking. The fourth thing is tonality. Your tonality is very important, especially when you are trying to stress some points. And when you actually come on this coaching program, when I take you deeper, I'll be able to share with you how you can actually adjust your voice to suit the point that you are actually trying to make. Like for instance, if you are narrating a story, a sad story about yourself, of course your voice has to be lower. And then if you now come to a higher pitch, a higher state, like you want now to emphasize a point, then I came out of that problem. It was so joyous. You see, there's a difference in your emotion, a difference in your tonality. So the way you control your tonality will actually engage the audience more. Let's look at the fifth thing in this system, which is very important, and it is eye contact. Eye contact. Most of the times when somebody is looking direct in your eye, there is some form of contact that develops between you and that person. You sort of engage, and you find that when someone does not want to connect with you, they usually shy away. They won't look directly in the eyes. Now, as a speaker, when you are speaking, what you need is, for instance, you are speaking to about 8,000 people. What you need is to actually give at least 8 seconds per person in the audience. In other words, you need to give 8 seconds to everyone who is in the audience. In other words, for instance, if I'm saying, I know something about you, I'll look at somebody else, then I'll say, you have a book inside you. I look at somebody else. When that person looks in my eyes and I'm stressing a point, that engagement, somebody will go home and say, he looked just at me and said, I know something about you. There is a book inside you. And that just brings out the energy. It brings out the connection. And that person will never be the same. So it's important that you look people in the eyes. You actually select almost one person in each angle. Make sure on the right hand side, in the center, on the left hand side, at the back of the audience, you are able to actually look at someone direct in the eye when you are speaking. That way you engage and people will remember you more. Then the last one is movement. This is a part that is very important in your speaking career. As you become a speaker, you need to actually, as we were talking on this stance, you need to know how to stand, and you need to know the movements that you can make, even the gestures, especially your hands. Like for instance, if I'm talking to you, I can't be busy scratching there, holding my neck, trying to do this. You won't really concentrate. So the movement of my hands and the movement of my body has to be in a way that I'm able to engage with you as I speak. So this is the stress-free speaker system. So number one, you need to know that you need to be in a state, you need to be focused when you are going to present. And number two is you need to be yourself whenever you are speaking, whenever you are presenting. Then number three is you need to be in a proper stance when you are speaking. Number four is that your tonality, you need to know how to control your tonality when you are speaking and trying to stress a point. Then of course, number five is your eye contact. You need to look directly in the eyes of the people when you are presenting. And movement, how you move on stage, how you turn, and how you actually move your hands. It's very, very important. So thank you very much for watching this video, and I look forward for you to watch the second video, which I'm going to teach, and that's about content creation. That's about content creation. How do you structure your message? That will be the second video. Thank you once again for watching, and God bless you.